back to Picking Up a Hobby. Today I just wanted to create a short video on how I boil down my maple syrup, or boil down my maple sap to make maple syrup. So right now it is February 25th. So it's the sap has been flowing through our maple trees for about a week or two now, and this past week I have about 10 taps out, and I've got over 20 gallons of sap. So I just wanted to show you how I boil down my maple sap. And the first thing is, this way will only relate with you if you want to create about 1 to 3 gallons of syrup this year. If you are looking to do more than this, I will create a future video on how you can do it over a long fire where you have more surface area to boil more sap faster. But if you are looking to do it in just an easy way, a hobby style, you don't have to do too much work, and you can just kind of let it boil down throughout your day, you can do other things, then this is the way to do it for you. So the first thing that I do, I have a induction stove right here that I got for $50 from IKEA, and then I have a pot that I just throw on here. And I would say, you don't want a gigantic pot that has a lot of volume. You want kind of a smaller pot which will heat up faster, and just because that will allow more sap to boil, and that creates kind of more surface area for the for the water to evaporate, and that's big in evaporating water from your sap. It's surface area. So, but I can get into that further in another video. And then I have my sap bucket right here. I'll just pour it in when it starts to get low. Alright, so first obviously you want to put your pot on right there, and then, so this I have about, probably, if these are 2 5-gallon buckets, I've got about 8 gallons of sap, but this is my concentrated sap from my reverse osmosis system, so that's why it looks kind of darker. Usually sap right off the tree is clear, it looks a lot like water, but since it is much more concentrated, it has a lot more sugar in it, because I ran it through that reverse osmosis system, which extracts about 50% of the water in it, and that's nice because then that's 50% less boiling time, which, if you've done maple syrup before, you know that is one of the best things that you can have. So it's really simple. With boiling, you just want to take one of your buckets, pour it in. I don't pour it in all the way because there's a lot of bubbles that form on the top, but right about there is perfect. And then just start heating it up. And this is just going to go. I usually put a lid on top of it just to start getting it hot at first, but this will all probably boil down within about an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. Actually, probably an hour and a half, closer to 2. But I could probably get through all 8 gallons of this easily in one day. So, and this came from about 20 gallons of sap. So that reverse osmosis cut it down to 8 gallons, and then I can boil 8 gallons in one day, which over this induction stove. Alright, so then now kind of when your sap starts to look like this, and it's gonna get more and more brown looking like maple syrup, but when there's more room to put in, if you want, you can you can add more sap in that I have over there in that bucket, or you can, but right now I'm just going to let this boil all the way down because it's about 5 o'clock, and this will take an hour or so. It's been boiling steady, and one of the nice things about the induction stoves is how fast that it heats up, which is pretty nice. And then, other than that, I'm just going to keep this boiling, and when you want to keep an eye on it, especially when it comes towards the end, because you don't want it to burn. If you overdo it, then it's going to be really hard to get out of your pan, and trust me, I'm speaking from experience, you don't want to do that. So keep an eye on it when it starts to finish, and it will just keep on boiling. Alright, so now I've been boiling all day, and as you can tell, it's nighttime out. So I'm just letting this basically just finish now, and when it gets really low, in which I will show you in a minute, that is when I will start to, I will probably bring it inside where I can monitor it closer, and to see when it finishes. And just a heads up, when it finishes, it will either be at 219 degrees Fahrenheit, or it will, or there's a specific type of like bubble formation that I like to call it. That is when I know that it is maple syrup and that it's perfect to take off, strain, and then bottle. So we gotta wait a little bit longer, and then the time will come. Alright, so now I moved it inside to our big stove, obviously, where I can monitor it and kind of go and do other things while still watching, not have to go outside. One of the biggest things about doing it inside, you have to turn your vent on, because if you don't, the steam will be all sticky, it'll get everywhere in your house. So I only recommend doing your finished boil inside of your house, and don't do your whole operation inside your house, because your whole house will get sticky. It'll smell like maple syrup, which is not a bad thing, but something you definitely want to watch. So we'll just let this continue to boil down, and it's already that nice brown amber color that we really like and look for in maple syrup. But I will come back in a few moments when it is time to actually see that it is now syrup.
Okay, sorry that I have to do a voiceover right now. My other clip that I had, well, the audio didn't work on it, but mainly what I just wanted to show you were the distinct bubbles that happen when your syrup is finished. So right now what is shown, those really brown small bubbles where there's a lot of them, they just keep multiplying, and it will rise to the top of your pot. Don't let them boil over, but that is the perfect sign to see when your maple syrup is done. You can take it off the burner, and then it will be all ready to strain and take it over there now.
Okay, so now is going to be the filter and the straining process. So right here I just have some cheesecloth. It's black because I use it for a Halloween costume, but that's all good. And then I put that inside of a strainer just to give it some support, and then we've got a tempered glass thing because this is hot sap. You don't want to pour that into regular glass and they'll shatter and they'll be bad. And then basically you can take all of your lovely maple syrup that is all finished and ready to eat, and you want to strain that in here. It may take a second to get through that because it's going to be thick. And alright, and once you have that all strained, you can start to jar that. And again, make sure it's in a tempered glass jar where it will not shatter, because I've had that happen before. It's a big mess to clean up. And then you can go again and finish straining. So I just wanted to say a few more things. So this is about a little over 4 cups of syrup, which is actually crazy because that is half of everything that I got in 1 week. So today is February 24th, and I would say that the maple sap has been really flowing for about a week, maybe 2. Really starts President's Day weekend for us. But this is great, but what really made this possible was the reverse osmosis system. That cut down on major boiling. So on that little induction stove, I was able to boil down over 5 gallons today, which was about 6 to 7 hours of boiling. That got me this. As I said, hobby maple syrup making. That is the best way to go. You don't need to buy a super big evaporator unless you'd like to, but I also don't like to have to fuel fire all day. And just having it out there, it's easy cleanup, and you don't have to monitor, and you don't have to worry about having the fire going all day. But a few other things. The main ratio for making maple syrup is about 40 gallons of sap can equal to 1 gallon of syrup. So really, when you do see this and you taste it, you really appreciate that it is quite a bit of work, but it tastes so good. So thank you for watching, and enjoy, and good luck with making your maple syrup.